Hey, survivors, let's get this chat started. We're going to talk about, are we manipulators too? What's the difference between stonewalling and ghosting? A lot of times narcissists love to ghost. And the difference with stonewalling is not a manipulation tactic. Stonewalling is a way to protect ourselves. So when you go no contact and you remain stoic, you're not communicating with your narcissist. It's to protect yourself after all the abuse that we've been through. Now, a narcissist will ghost us. To either avoid taking accountability for something. So if you wanted to talk about something, they'll just disappear. Or if they don't want to communicate, that maybe they don't want to pursue the relationship. Um, and they're very inconsistent. You feel that you can reach out to a friend or a lover and get a response back, but if they're up to something, they can easily ghost you. If they don't know how to respond to something, it's a very immature way of handling things. It's kind of goes along with the silent treatment, where when an issue pops up, or something triggered them, that they just shut down, they don't communicate. I see that a lot with the kids at school, where if something becomes overwhelming, that they don't discuss it, they don't know how to. The other thing that's interesting is I see it with the kids where they don't know how to communicate what they're feeling. They don't know, they don't have the vocabulary or the understanding of what certain words mean. Like anxious, a lot of them don't know how to say I feel anxious. They just know how, I don't know, it doesn't match up with sad. I'm not necessarily sad. And the narcissist, they don't understand the full gamut of the different emotions. They feel emotions in a more limited capacity, and they will ghost when they're uncomfortable, and or they have something else to do. Narcissists are always caught up in the moment, things that serve their purpose. So I see we got a couple people in chat. Feel free to join in. Let me know how your day was going. Today was a good day for me. I did have to stay, or I did it at home. I had a why we should shower class, and I was supposed to have, what was it, 48 and 21 students in an hour, and none of them showed up. I'm hoping it's not a technical difficulty, because the school invested quite a bit for these kids. I don't know, they were just supposed to log on. John says, hey, Cynthia, little consistency with such an individual. I really tried to get this girl to open up. I got partially successful, but she didn't trust me enough to let me in. And this is the other thing. It's not that she necessarily didn't trust you. She didn't trust herself on how to handle what emotions may happen. So there is Sammy Sam. Hi, good to see you. I'm not all dressed up today. I still got blue on. But good to have you here. How was your day going? But you're right, the lack of consistency, and if you think about the new supply is still getting inconsistent emotions. The person might be there, but they're not like truthful emotions. They appease sometimes. John says, I've heard that from some of her friends. You're correct. Yeah, it's not necessarily the person. And that's why they keep saying it's not you. It's a reflection of themselves. And that's why they do the blame shifting, the projection. And John says, hey to Sam. Look at that big old smile John has. So we have to not take things so personally. I do want to get a little deeper into, did the narcissist hate us? Because they did enjoy their time with us, but they see things differently. They see things as transactional. So the ghosting, when people are willing to just dismiss you, not get back to you, break plans without an explanation, it gets hard too, because sometimes the narcissist will communicate with you, but it's not the truth. So it really starts affecting people's lives. And when we stonewall or go no contact, it's after realizing the person's not going to change. There are some people that can change, that can realize. Sammy Sam says, I'm okay, thanks, Cynthia, going no contact. Yep. And when we go no contact, it's not just don't pick up the phone. It's actually taking the necessary steps so we're not checking our phone. Because that can change our self-esteem. Like, why haven't they contacted me? Or, don't they miss me? When you block them, you're not going to have those feelings. You're not going to be constantly checking your phone. You're not going to be affecting your self-esteem. Like, I guess they really didn't care. They just don't have a way to contact you, and you don't need to know. Do they miss you? Do they not miss you? They had their chance, and if they're not willing to change, narcissists are different than the other people in the world. There are some other mental illnesses that have manipulators. So when we're going no contact, are we necessarily manipulating them? Sometimes some of you guys are, you're like, fine, I'm just gonna see when they come back and grab me up. But when you're trying to get away from the abuse, when you stonewall somebody, you can go no contact, or have limited conversations, whether it's through email, text, through a third party. Sometimes we have to deal with the narcissist, whether it's dealing with children or prior commitments that have to be taken care of. So Sammy Sam says, hi, back to John. John says, everything I noticed in her, she projected to others, that it was me acting this way. Come on, I spent years with a great girl, so obviously I'm not that type of a person. Yeah, 40 years. That's a long relationship, and they didn't break up. It was unfortunately a death that ended that relationship. John says, I feel going no contact is merely protecting yourself from further emotional harm. Yep. And misery loves company, and the narcissist is miserable. So they want to bring you down as well. So to protect yourself, we've already tried everything we needed to try. Um, Sam says, the girl who I was seeing, she used me. She contacted me, asked me for a ride, promised she would give me fuel. She never did. And then she doesn't respond nor meet up with me. Yeah, it's just like one and done almost. Yeah, being used isn't nice. They will promise you, I'll pay you. Yeah. Same with if you lend them money. A lot of narcissists, they might pay you back until that final time when they're like, screw it, I don't need this anymore. And then they'll either keep your money at that time or just stop contacting you. And it feels crappy to be used, because we go out of our way to help people. Yeah. Mia, hi, good evening to you back, and also to everyone, she says. Sam says they are manipulative. Yes, and that's why I wanted to make sure that we realize that there could be times, everybody has some narcissism in them, that, there are times we either want the revenge or we want to manipulate because we want our way. We're sad. But you say, I don't want to stop helping people. It's about being selective. And it definitely is about being selective. It's really hard with narcissists because it takes time to have that mask fall. And I've been thinking a lot about it too. A lot of my viewers are searching for things about the new supply. And it's just an unveiling. They just have to wait for that pieces to come together to see who the narcissist truly is. They know how to manipulate. They've been doing it their whole life. Also, with the lack of empathy, their body doesn't respond the same way. So, you know, sociopaths and psychopaths, they can pass lie detector tests sometimes because of the lack of empathy. They don't care. Like, if I was to do something wrong and go in front of a lie detector, like, my heart rate would start changing, my respirations, my sweat level, my body temperature, all that would be detectable, but it goes undetected. Their eye movements are different. The amount of blinking that they do um, is different. It's different. And that's why they get away with so much, because a lot of those red flags aren't there. You would see it in me. You'd see it in my face if I was lying to you. But some of them are really good. Some of them are terrible liars. So it's like some of the stories they come up with. But some will go to great lengths So yeah, they are definitely manipulative. Sam says, I don't want to stop helping people. So yeah, definitely selective. Would I say everyone has been used in a way? Is there any way to prevent it? Unfortunately, we've all been used in some way, or manipulated, just like the stores. I mean, everybody's been to a store. The stores manipulate us, uh, to get us into that store, or the placement of things on the shelves. The end caps are usually more expensive. The location of where certain foods are, the higher dollar ones are going to be right in front of your face. A lot of times, you have different spaghetti sauces or whatever. Um, that the placement makes a difference. And even the music that they play, they purposely will put on certain music, or the temperature of the store. If they want you to shop quickly, it's going to be a colder store. They want you to hang out a longer time, it'll be warmer, not too warm. But um, so society uses us, our bosses could say, you're the best at doing this, so we need you to do it. They just need you, and so they're going to stroke your ego to get you to take it on. Yeah, we all have. Or even just the, you make the best mashed potatoes, will you bring those to Thanksgiving? I just don't want to make them. I hate peeling potatoes. So things like that. It's like little things. So yes, Sam, everybody has been used in some way. How do we prevent it? Stick to your boundaries. Sometimes it's reading through things, seeing the red flags, but sometimes we can't see the red flags. Take the information that we have, the knowledge that we have, and realize that um, we have a say in what we do and don't do. We can take control. Do we read the prices on everything, or are we just impulse buying? Are we shopping selectively? Are we, you know, um, the only one bringing the mashed potatoes? Is everybody bringing a side dish? Is everybody doing their part? Are you trying to use me? Or, um, if I don't want to make mashed potatoes, I can say, look, I'll make au gratin, take it or leave it. That's what I'll bring. So it's up to us on how we stand. And the stronger a person is, the more grounded somebody is. Um, it's interesting how the dynamics work, where the more grounded person has a bolder personality to ask for things, and people will often be drawn to that and want to help. So if we want people to be drawn to us, there's got to be a balance between the give and the take, and be grounded within yourself. Narcissists can be grounded, but they utilize it as a manipulation tool. And John says, I'm concentrating on myself, projects, and of course the pet crew. Just so you know, that guy actually walked into your apartment yesterday to talk you into buying drugs and giving him money. Ooh, my goodness. He just walked in. Why is it? That's the thing too. We got to keep our places locked up in today's day and age. How did you handle it? What did you say to him? And sometimes it gets scary on how do we handle it. Some people can be quite scary, and we don't want to put ourselves in harm's way. So sometimes there's a little balance on how we talk to something. Sam says, John, the best thing to do is to focus on yourself. Yeah. And focus on yourself. The right people will be there. Don't overdo it where you replace your pain with an obsession that, let's say it's working out. So now you're working out all the time, and you're letting other things go, whether it's your laundry, or your job, or your hygiene, or your friends. That still, focus on yourself in a well-rounded way. Reconnect with people. I told you there was a study that people that if you're alone in Antarctica, your brain's going to shrink because of the lack of social interaction. So we do have to keep that brain healthy, you know? John says he refused to leave, but I finally got him to go. I made the mistake of leaving my door unlocked. He came back ringing the apartment bell, and what did he say when he threatened you? Oh, goodness. John, that gets scary. You know, and this is a perfect example. That's why, like drugs, desperation, money, all those kind of things, that's when I'm super scared. I'm not really all that scared. You gotta be careful in society, but if somebody's strung out on drugs or in a desperate state of mind, that's when people can be ruthless. They can kill at that moment, you know, that sometimes drunks or I'm sorry, drug addicts, that they already, you know, have lowered inhibitions and risky behavior, and they're not thinking straightly. That's what really scares me. Does that person use drugs, John, that you know of? I know most sellers do, not all use drugs. But you know, with this person, they have an entitlement to go into somebody else's apartment. Wow, that's and I bet how often did he ring the doorbell? Was he there for quite a while? But when you set boundaries, this person didn't like the boundaries. John asked him to leave, and then he's still being persistent. And his only thing was to get money, not to hang out, not to like let's party together. Um, you were seen as a target, you know. Whew. So, John, I see that you say you're concentrating on yourself, your projects, and the pet crew. It's good to socialize. It's good to maybe meet some new friends. Sam, have you been able to reconnect with some of your friends? A lot of times we become isolated, and that we get into such a pattern that we forget to experience the outside life. So I know with me, I did a lot of sewing and you know, a lot of teaching online, creating classes that uh, sometimes we lose ourselves too in that. And I had the best summer of my life. I went on this mud bogging thing. I ended up in a music video for Dusty Lee, and just had so much fun, that it was worth taking a break and reconnecting with people and just, you know, feeling the sun and the wind and a little adrenaline rush from the quad runners. I love being on stage, so that was fun too. But you guys are awesome with the thumbs up. I appreciate those. And the stonewalling can be a necessary tool. You know, is ghosting a necessary tool? It's not a necessary tool. It's a manipulation tactic or an avoidant thing. A lot of narcissists will have the avoidant personality. They can have comorbidities. And it relates to their trauma. You know, they shut down. I see the kids at school shut down. No matter what you do, they don't want to talk about it. And sometimes it's just, you know, like, oh crap, they think I really, you know, I'm in a relationship with them. I don't need them till Friday night after 10 p.m. You know, so there's different breeds of narcissists and a different scale of how narcissistic oh, you guys are awesome. You made my day. Thank you. You guys came through for me. And I did say when we get 5,000 subscribers, somehow we'll make this public week where we can have a public meeting place, maybe an activity or a convention, or I don't know. It'd be nice to get your ideas, cruise, whatever, a little healing journey, because that is part of it, is to reconnect with ourselves, to experience life. And the sadder we are, we can kind of bring ourselves out of it by giving ourselves those dopamine hits that we used to get from our narcissist, but by getting it through nature or activities or you know, just living life and investing in our friends that really do care about us. You know, that the no contact is the most effective as far as healing. When you set the narcissist free, you realize you've done everything. They haven't shown that they want to change. There are people that do struggle, people do change, but the narcissist isn't willing to do that for a lifelong commitment. And you can see how people are. People have a hard time changing. Just like I can't ask you guys, look, can you just come on? You love that person, right? You love them. Okay. This is how you can get back with your narcissist and be together forever. Just accept the abuse. And you're going to be like, what? I am not changing like that. And the narcissist is going to be like, what do you mean change? I like who I am, just like we like who we are. We just don't like the abuse. Um, I don't like the threatening. I don't know. John, do you think you need to get a PPO, a personal protection order? Um, our narcissist abused us because of the brain damage that they have. They're not thinking clearly. And then when people are on drugs or alcohol, it changes their brain chemistry. Um, and that's why, you got to think about, sometimes people will react with their state of mind. So if they're in a desperate state of mind and the drugs that they're using or the alcohol they're using can heighten that scared feeling of being in a state of need. So people who are happy, sometimes they can accentuate being happy and they'll be giddy and life is easy. The state of mind going into alcohol or drugs shows a lot of times what the outcome will be. It's a way to mask their feelings. Um, and we got a couple other people. Feel free to join in. I got a message from Mare yesterday, 3 minutes after I logged off. She's saying that she needs some help, so hopefully she'll log in. The healing part is a journey that I want to help you guys on. So if you guys can let me know of some of the things that you guys are struggling with, I'll try to proactively help you. But I don't mind doing one-on-one analysis of some things that you guys are going through, because each person's story is different. So when you're sitting here watching for advice from different YouTubers, there's some great advice out there, but you have to be careful. Is your person a vulnerable narcissist? Are they a covert narcissist? Are they triggered by certain things? Are they sex addicts? Are they, and that's why relationship advice from therapists sometimes can be misleading unless a person understands narcissistic abuse. you know um, they might encourage you to do something that is actually enabling the narcissist. Um, like, I don't know. John, you still there? John got all quiet on me. Your phone's still working for me. So I know if you are dealing with a narcissist during a custody battle, a lot of times too, they're no holds barred. They're gonna do some low blows, and you know it's hard to communicate. They can use the children against you. They can use flying monkeys. And manipulate people to get things done. They can also do a lot of smear campaigns. That's why if you are going through things like that, just like John, you're dealing with somebody who is self-serving. Are they necessarily a narcissist? They're self-serving. And, document things and take necessary precautions. If they're threatening you, I wish you would tell me, John, what did he say? If somebody's threatening you, that, you do have to tell them not to come back. you know um that you don't want to interact with them. So, John, you do need to tell them that I don't want to uh, deal with this. I don't want you coming back to my house. I'm not interested. So we do have to set our boundaries, and then the law will help us through that. Just like those no trespassing signs, you got to put that up. If there's no warning, then you know um, they'll all tell you to tell them one time. So like if I was going to call you tonight, um, you're not going to get a personal protection order on me. You have to tell me I don't want to talk again, and then you can get a personal protection order. Now I'm in Michigan. I went to law school back in '97 or something, so laws can change. But personal protection orders were like $10. They might be maybe $20. John, have you ever filed a personal protection order? I'm not sure if you have, but they will allow some comfort. But we also have to remember people, my degree's in criminal justice, and, you know, uh, with like capital punishment, though that's not really an effective deterrent. If somebody's going to do something, they're going to do it. So um, it can help a little bit, but we also have to protect ourselves. So maybe get a camera, uh, watch your back, have lights on, maybe use a buddy system. And I can't believe he walked into your door. That's, you know, uh, you might, breaking and entering, you might be able to get something like that. Um, your door was closed. You might be able to get a breaking and entering. I think you can do a B&E. I'll call you police department. But, we got to be careful of repercussions too. John, that might be a breaking and entering. I know, like even if you had your windows open and somebody threw a rock through your window, that's still considered. You can't just do that. You can't just. Sometimes it's a body, or your arm, but even throwing a rock because it's an extension of you. It was in your hand and it extended into you, your place. Yeah, if your door was closed, it wasn't inviting them in. That's definitely probably a breaking and entering, depending on your state and everything. So, yeah, and what's scary is like a lot of people don't file police reports or follow through on court hearings, trying to lock the criminal up because they are worried about repercussion. A lot of domestic violence goes underreported, and a lot of people try to back out. They have changed how that goes now. Like if you call 911 and it's a domestic violence, that it is no longer up to you. But I will say this, I've seen it firsthand. It's supposed to become where sorry you called, it's going through, but I saw it firsthand that my neighbors had like a domestic violence type thing, and it's supposed to be out of their hands. Now it's up to the cops and the courts what's going to happen. And of course the cops, they don't always want to write the reports, they don't want to deal with the hassle, so things are going unknown. So you guys are so quiet tonight. Either that or my chat's not working. But you know, uh, there's people who have been victimized. Oh, Anna! Hi, Anna. My chat is working. Good. How are you doing today? Hopefully each day gets better. There are ups and downs, but hopefully you're having a good day today. I'm having a good day. But some people don't want to prosecute because they don't want to become victims again. And, the way the court system is, you are doing better today. Awesome. And there are good days, there are bad days. And if we use positive affirmation, tell ourselves how special we are, that we are going to get through it, that all these people on this channel, we're interacting with each other just like John is saying hi. We're building a community. People who really care about us check in with us, and Mia's here too. Sammy Sam and Anna saying hey back. Look at all that love. Ooh, that love is just radiating. I love emojis. Um, and we had a sunny day. Maybe that's part of the reason I'm in a good mood. We had a sunny day today here in Michigan, a little warmer. I don't know, John, where you were pretty close in temperature. I think it was like 40 something. It wasn't terrible today. I know I'm super tired today. I probably look pretty rough, but it was a good day today. The kids were pretty good. And they put me on the spot. Oh, what's my name? I accidentally messed up. I called one kid by his brother's name. They're maybe 2 years apart. And their ethnicity is like the only pretty much one in the school that is that type. And they do look similar because they are brothers and they're not that far apart. And I'm like, dang it, I said the wrong name. So I gave him a sucker, and then everybody's like, "What's my name? What's my name?" I deal with so many kids. I'm like, oh, but there are times that we have to take a stand. Sometimes even to protect others. The world is changing. John says he threatened to hurt me. I'm going to inform the police. He's done this to other friends too, not just me. Yeah, and let the cops know. Say, hey, is this a breaking and entering? Is this a B&E? Because he entered and wasn't invited in. That's up to you how you handle it. But people shouldn't just be walking into your place. And I was always taught that, you knock. Did he at least alert you? Did he like, hey, buddy, are you home? And walk in? That gets scary. Lock your door. But other people have grown up where, oh, your friends, just come on in, just don't worry about it, you're always welcome here. So some people are accustomed to that and they forget that not everybody is. I don't like that he threatened to hurt you though, and that he took the liberty to just come on in. So definitely inform the police. You can make police reports. And have a track record, whether they would prosecute or not. With the B&E, they might give you the opportunity to decide if you want to press charges or not. But it's a good record of what's happening. I don't like that he threatened to hurt you. How did he say it? What did he say? I'm going to kick your ass, or did you believe he was serious? Sometimes people say things in the heat of the moment too. I'll fuck you up. It's like some people follow through though. And this is, I bring back that Chinese proverb that we had at my old school, and I use it a lot, where it's like, be careful of your thoughts become your words become your actions become your destiny. And we're already at the word spot. Your words become your actions. So he said the words, the next comes actions. So be careful on that. Once it comes out of that brain through the mouth, that's when it gets scary, and not everybody says the words. Sometimes they just do skip right to the action, or, hopefully they don't. John says, I've tried to contact him weeks before and left messages telling him to stay away. I got a recording of him on my messages with him going off in the background recently. I documented it. Yeah, so you did leave the message. It's been so long since I've been in law school. Some, I don't know exactly how they do it now. If it's, how do you prove they heard that message? And how do you prove what you said? Because you're reaching out to them. But document it. This is what I said. And does he lives in the apartment complex, doesn't he? That's what gets scary too is, close proximity. That it's interesting how many crimes happen close to home. You would think people would be smart in a way. This isn't advice on how to get away with things, but people will do things in their own little community because they know where this is, they know where the police station is and the routes of the cops, and they know, you know, which fast food restaurant is the most busiest, who has cameras, who doesn't, which cash register is going to be full. Um, they can study the patterns of the employees, the bank runs, whatever they're doing. But if they would go further away, they don't have the knowledge. But also, people know them. All you gotta do is, do you know this person? You know, cameras now. It's amazing how many crimes still happen with all the different tracking things that we have. Somebody else give me a thumbs up. I love you guys. John says he's had housing issues as well as substance abuse issues. You'll see that a lot too. That I'm not exactly sure if you mean housing with the management company where they're, but sometimes housing issues too, where they move around a lot, that they can't secure um, consistent housing. Not all narcissists are like that, though. I think more of your grandiose ones are able to keep those things because that is important to them as far as their image. The vulnerable ones are the poor pity me. So the crappier their place is, the better they can bitch about it and get attention or free money or help from people. So we do have other people in the chat, and John continue as well. But I know sometimes you guys just like listening, but you're welcome to share your thoughts or questions. But the patterns that we see across the board on how damaging the relationships can be. I was just talking to one of my subscribers called me, and we were just talking about sometimes a narcissist is trying to manipulate. Sometimes a narcissist is trying to have a relationship, but the way they go about it is toxic. That's why even with the new supply, it's going to fall apart. The new supply is going to have some triggers. The new supply is going to have some needs, and it just takes time. The narcissist isn't going to tend to any of their needs. Over time, it's going to get worse. It's foreseeable, or they're just gonna, coexist together. It's gonna destroy the relationship unless the people change, and that's why we need to change too, to have a better future, to realize some things that we've done, to analyze our reactive abuse that we've done, because we can see our triggers a lot of times too, that our narcissist knows our triggers. So John says he's moved around a lot, but he can't seem to escape the drug world. Major issues with him concerning that. Yeah. And there was one video I saw, like, man, as a drug dealer, who would have believed I went from driving a Lambo to being locked up in jail, selling drugs, and they had this high dollar, whatever, they're living life. Like, who would have thought, just a couple months ago I was. And everybody's like, we all did. We all saw it coming. That's why we asked you to stop. They don't want to escape that drug world because fast, easy money, but look how dangerous it is. Like, I know some people were like, man, I'd love to own a strip club. I think it's changed over the last few years, but strip clubs used to make buku bucks. And I know several owners, managers that have been shot. There's one girl, she killed another dancer with the heel of her shoe, how they had those, I don't know, 6-inch heels, stabbing her through her head, being involved in that drug world. And not every dancer does drugs, don't take it that way. But, bouncers getting shot. And I'm like, I don't care how good the money was. I would never want to be involved. Some of it was mafia related, and striving to get to the top, all the customers. So bar owners putting hits on each other. It's just money is not worth it, you know. Safety is where it's at. And John says, I'm noticing that because I'm trying to better myself, some people are not too cool at that. Yep, you're not a target anymore. They don't like that. Um, so sometimes they'll try to break down your boundaries, or yeah, or throw that little temper tantrum. And John says, do we need to wear exo armor these days? If you make it. John's our inventor. He'll invent anything. You need to invent something for our convention. Calibri's here. Hello, hello. Greetings from Seattle. You still there? How's that new vehicle working out for you? Just watching watching me on your TV, just resting up from a Costco run. Now I have a limited space to haul my shopping. Yes. Is it smaller than what you had before? But that's nice. You know, you're hauling your stuff in style, and yeah, I'm, I'm very happy for you with your new car. And I can't remember. Oh, you said what color was it? Champagne. Champagne. I bet that's beautiful. I had a champagne car before. I think that was my second car. Um, yeah, eventually. Oh, my mom's car just died. She had to have it towed today. And I'm kind of wondering, was she in that car? She just got home from the hospital. What is she doing? I'm thinking maybe one of her workers did it. But yeah, update on mom. She's doing pretty good. So, Calibri, have you had any run-ins today? Mia says, I am here, Cynthia. You're listening. Good. It's nice to know who's here. I wish I could see who was in the chat room. Sometimes numbers flip-flop, and I don't always get everybody that's in here. So sometimes you guys might leave and somebody else joins, or maybe you guys log off for a little bit, come back. But it's nice to know you're still here, Mia. Calibi says it's majorly smaller. It's good in a way. Parents prevents me from overbuying. Yeah. And I used to have a minivan, and there's times I definitely miss it. I definitely miss it. And I have a standard car. So Kalibi says no narc sightings today. I feel so lucky. And that's the other thing too. You get out there, experience life, do your shopping, go about your day, and you're not involved with them, you know? So John, if you were out and about today, I don't know, you'd probably still run into them on your way home. You like to walk, don't you, John? I haven't been to your place. It seems like you got some beautiful nature, or like walking trails by you. And I'm looking forward to summer. I want to start walking again. I don't like winter. It's too cold. I can't handle it. But I think we need to have a roller skate party. I wish you guys were all closer. I need somebody to roller skate with me. And yeah, it's a celebration when we have a narc-free day. But the ghosting part is so unnecessary. It's so hurtful. It's something that society is, I don't know if accepting is the right word, but you like my princess video stamp on YouTube? Well, good. I'm glad you like that. My profile picture, is that what you're talking about? Yeah, and I did that hair so quick. I just kind of like, I'm like, okay. So it worked out good, but it definitely, yeah. That was fun. I need to. I want to do a lot more characters. I'm trying to learn all about green screens and different little ways of editing, because I do want to make this enjoyable. Our little ex, excursion to the other side, where uh, it's uplifting and unique, and I got a lot of things going in my head. Sometimes comedy can help too. So uh, I'd like to know some more filters and different things like that. I There's some YouTubers that are pretty creative. They spend a lot of time doing certain things, and I think once I had the tools to do it, and I've made some videos where I know how to splice and edit, but yeah, trying to figure out the green screen and all that stuff. I want moving green screen so it's like live. I figured out how to do um, a static green screen, but uh, yeah, just like the beach scene that I have. I've done it twice. I'm trying to do some research on how that does that do better than just me in my living room, because they also say for YouTube videos to do like 7-second transitions. So here I'd be talking and I'd be, different things, or in the back porch or whatever. It's interesting how humans have so much in common, that like even our attention span, that they have it down to a science, that if you switch it every 7 seconds, that it reinvigorates people. It's something new to look at. So even as adults, little things, I think that's why the fire sometimes can help too. It's a little bit of change, a little stimulation is good to help keep us focused. So Valentine's Hoover, uh if our person ghosted us, do we really owe them anything to answer the phone? Do we really owe them anything? A lot of times, if you respond to them, they're going to feel it's an open door to continue uh, weaseling their way back in. And since a narcissist is transactional, they they won't be coming back for love. They'll be coming back for you serving them a purpose. Sometimes too, it can even just be, um, you know, uh, let's say you were married and people were like, you you guys were a cute couple, something like that, and they feel they're being judged. So they'll want to get rid of that, not necessarily because they want to get back together with you. It's just they want people to see them in a different light. And um, so on Valentine's Day, what day is Valentine's Day this year? Am I going to have the kids at school? Let's see what day it is. Because I may spend it with you guys. If you guys want a Valentine date with me, we can do a live chat, I think. Oh, Dog Defender is here. Been down with Briny. What is Briny? Is that another word for cold where you're from? Briny. It's, yeah, an informal name for the sea. I know they say like food can be briny. Oh, it's a typo. I'm sitting here looking it up. Dog Defender. Okay. Usually I figure things out and I'm like, briny, that means salty. Are you salty? So, okay, it's a typo, but what's it mean? Galibri says, I have a feeling that tricks might appear on my door on my birthday. Trick or treat. I'll be wearing my gloves and whatever it is, I'll throw it out. Oh, yeah. We might have a little poop present, if that's what you mean. It's on a Tuesday this year. All right. So Tuesday. We might be able to do like an hour or 2 hours. Something like that. If you guys would like a Valentine date this year, we might be able to swing that. Yeah, because going out to see my mom on the weekends. But yeah, the holiday Hoover, do we stonewall them? Do we stay no contact? I know sometimes during holidays we can be a little weaker, longing for our person. When we long for our person, we are actually longing for uh, the fantasy, for the fantasy to play out. And when we were in the love bombing stage, they were mirroring us and we saw ourselves in them. And that's why we loved it so much. We were able to be ourselves because we saw ourselves, and um, the growth doesn't happen. We grow a little bit, but they mirror us. and they don't really add to us as much as they could if they were more real about things. Kalibi says, I'm dealing with witchy narcs here, so expect to be surprised. Oh my goodness, stay safe. Dog Defender says, briny. Bronchitis, autocorrect in full force. I'm here, just woke up from a nap. Missed you guys. My mom's doing good. My mom's not good. She is doing good, but I'm worried about you. Bronchitis, that can be terrible. I used to get that quite often as a child. Like I had the worst coughs. Um, that can be painful. Like you feel like you're pulling muscles near your ribs. Sometimes you can bruise, from the muscles. Tell you what, when I get bronchitis, I get a six pack. But yeah, it can hurt. But there's times you're like, I don't even want to cough anymore. It hurts so much. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit better. John says, hey, Calibri Dog Defender. Dog says, hey, so sorry, Calibri. Hi, John. Yeah, going through a lot of stuff. Kalibi says hi to you guys back. And we got Mia in here. And who else is in here? Sam, are you still here? See, we got 5. Anna's here. So sometimes people, Mia, guys are just listening, which is fine. As long as everybody's, you know, um, doing what they're comfortable with. I try to give the information that I think will heal us the best. So are we manipulating when we're stonewalling? We are not necessarily trying to change the narcissist. It's at the point where um, live and let live. We can't change them. So it's a defense mechanism. So it's not a manipulation tool unless you're using it as one. Um, and if you are doing that to manipulate them, it's the change has to come from within them, and they often don't want to change. Dog says it sucks. Have lots of tests this week. Hi, everyone who is here, and look at that love, sending that love. Um, so yes, keep us posted. Hopefully your tests turn out okay, or at least guide the doctors on how to help you. Dog says self-preservation. That's exactly what stonewalling or no contact is. Self-preservation. We get to a point where it becomes so painful. They're not going to communicate with us in a way that brings us answers that are true or satisfying. They're going to take any opportunity. Once you're in that discard phase, a devaluation and discard phase, that communicating with them is impossible. If they cycle it back around to the love bombing stage, you can communicate for a little bit, but eventually it's just going to keep going. And that's when it gets exhausting. Like a relationship shouldn't be like that. Kalibi says, one great thing about the new car, it is very fuel efficient. The gas needle barely moved, and you got it last Thursday. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I had a big XLT, extra long van, a 15-seater, of course, growing up. Um, my parents, there's only 4 kids, but we had a 15-seater van. So 2 kids on one bench, 2 on the other. Or no, what was it? 1, 2, 3? We had 3 sometimes. Um, so, and then the 2 captain's chairs or whatever. But I forgot about that. 3 seats. 9, 10, 11. I don't know. We had a fifth. I want to say it was a 15-seater. XLT, whatever those are. But I learned to drive with that. And that was like 6 to 8 miles a gallon. So that was back in 88, 86, 86. Kalibi says one great thing. Yeah. Basil is here. Yay. Feel free to hit that like button, get the algorithm going, uh, speaking of cars, I just passed a traffic light accidentally. Ooh, you're oh, at least it was an accident. Yeah, we have to be careful with that though. Um, Growing up, I had a friend who got killed. Somebody blew a stop sign, um, and he got killed that way. So be careful. I've had a couple near misses. I'm not gonna lie, I've done that accidentally too. So I always think about that kid, um, 16 years old. Uh, so be careful. Be careful. Good to have you alive, and Basil joining us. Kalibi says, it happens, Basil. Just tell yourself you can do better next time. Yep, pay attention. um, Basil says the roads were empty and it was yellow and you took your chances. Yeah, there's times you can kind of see. You can kind of see. And it was yellow. Okay. All right. It was yellow. So is that an accident? Did it turn red while you were going under it? Otherwise, yeah, you can go through a yellow light, but you seem a little guilty. It's a true story. Glad you're here, though. Somebody else gave me a like. Thank you, guys. That makes me happy. That makes life worth living. Mahogany, I was just thinking about you. How are you? Hello to everyone. Look at that beautiful heart, all sparkly, shiny. Basil says the final second it turned red. Yeah, I had a feeling. I'm like, ooh, it's a little more to the story. Yeah, and there's not. Dang it. Yeah, so close. Mahogany's doing fine. Awesome. Kalibi says, I try my best not to beat the yellow light. Yeah, play it safe, because the timings are different. They're not always exactly the same, you know? Uh, I've noticed that where you're like, yeah, I got time. And then you're like, oh, um, yeah, guys are daredevils. So, be careful with Valentine's Day that you don't reverse Hoover yourself. And reverse Hoover is when you bring yourself back into the narcissist life because during holidays, things like that, whether you're a narcissist or somebody like us or whoever, um, holidays can be hard. We start thinking about people, especially if we're alone. So maybe even, have a best friend date. Basil says, hefty ticket is awaiting me tomorrow. Ooh, a fine. Do they have the automated pictures? Be careful. Some places have the pictures. Huh. Are you being serious? Because it can happen. Can happen. I wonder how they do it with twins. You know, um, you know, uh, teenage twins. Um, I don't know. I felt bad for this one girl when I was at court, that it was a twin, and she was getting so frustrated. She's like, "It is not me," and they had to keep fingerprinting her because her her sister kept turning her in, using her name. So she got arrested. She'd give her sister's name and take the mugshot and all that stuff, and then bail out, and then the sister would get stopped for, I don't know, either a warrant or speeding or something like that, and arrested because there's a warrant out for her, and it wasn't her. And it happened over and over. That's a narcissistic sister for sure. Dog Defender says, I went through all your shorts and the videos I'd missed, caught up and liked them all. Thank you. That definitely helps. What was your favorite? Don't tell me which your least favorite was. There's some I like better than others too. Um, I like Captain Narc. Do you like Captain Narc? My narcissist. Dog Defender says teenage twins here committed a crime. They have the same DNA, so it frustrates the cops. Yep. And there's how does it go? Um yeah, but their fingerprints will be a little bit different. You love the tiara. That's my new one. Yeah, I I don't care. 52 years old, I need it. So I kind of wish I bought a bigger one. But I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm really gonna do it. But yeah. As the channel grows, my tiara will grow. Do you guys say tiara or tiara? Potatoes, potatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. Tiara top. Basil says delivery bike was slowing down in front of me. It was frustrating. He passed the yellow light and left me with the red one. Narcissist. Yes. Well, at least he left you something. Could have left you a green one. If he slowed down enough. Would have. And just like the narcissistic cycle, those red lights. Oh, you guys are awesome with those thumbs up. I appreciate that. But just like the traffic light, it's going to go from red to yellow to green to red to yellow to green. That's the narcissistic abuse cycle too. So, just think it's just going to keep repeating that pattern. So once you get to that stop, stay at stop. Just it's just going to keep going and driving you in circles. And um, you know, you, you have so much potential for a beautiful life that we miss out a lot in the healing process of living our life. And I'm hoping to help you guys not miss out on so much of your life. They've done studies where, what is it, 2 or 3 years we spend putting on deodorant, 7 years in traffic or whatever. I can't remember it now, but it's like 2, 3 years just putting on deodorant. Same with brushing your teeth and um, however many years eating and years sleeping. And, sometimes people can waste years ruminating, getting depressed, anxious. And I saw this one thing too. What is it? Getting out is good for depression, but it's bad for anxiety. Staying in is good for anxiety, but bad for depression. So sometimes we have comorbidity things and we have to deal with more than just one thing. And that can be quite hard. You like that example, Basil? But you're still awaiting that fine. And we'll add to that. I'll expand out. Um, yeah, we have a hefty price to pay. We were in that narcissistic cycle. And, let's pay that fine. Okay. And our fine, unfortunately, even though we were innocent, just like Basil was innocent, um, it's a price we pay, that we didn't get out sooner. Um, why are we here? To give me thumbs up. To help with the algorithm so we can have a convention. 5,000 subscribers and I'll do it. Why are we here? What's the meaning of life? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Basil says, what's worrying me is that I was driving a narc's car and hopefully he won't find out before it's too late. The fine is okay with me, but not the rage. Um, how come you're driving a narc's car? Hmm? Uh, I don't know if that's an ex and you guys are still connected somehow. You're borrowing it. Okay. Um, yeah, and be careful. Be careful. Dr. Doom. Oh, it's your favorite time of day watching my stream. Thank you. Oh, it's a test drive. Are you thinking about purchasing a Cleaver just got a new car? So Dr. Doom, thank you for joining. If you want to fall to some peer pressure, hit that like button. um, yeah, just being silly. So keep us posted. Did you like it? Did you like it? Yeah. Some people are very protective of their things. John says, just kidding, Cynthia. We are all in a good place here tonight. Yeah, I was about to cry. Bessel says, yes, I'm considering purchasing a Suzuki Jimmy. Oh, that'd be fun. Jimmys are fun. I went off-roading in a Jimmy. That was kind of fun. Yeah, I got to figure out what I want. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know what color. I had a fleeting moment of purple because my school's color were purple and white, which I think is so amazing. But I tried the purple nail polish, little Team Spirit. Yeah, I didn't like it. So I don't know if I'd like a purple car. I'd like a pink car, but with resale, I'm not too sure. I kind of like orange. Do you guys like orange? I don't know. I like yellow, but I don't know. Certain cars. Um, do you remember for a while they had, I call them California colors. They had a lot of bright like greens and bright oranges and yellows, and you don't see that as much. I like the California colors, as I call them. Basil says it's a really fun car and affordable masterpiece of engineering and work of art. In my honest opinion, it reflects the beauty of simplicity. And sometimes, yeah, keep your life simple too. Sometimes the most beautiful things are simple. And keep us posted. Hopefully it's a good price. Bargain. Um, keep us posted. Kalibi says, get an orange Toyota GR86, larger than my car and more practical. And Toyotas are really good for that. When I was in China, I know Toyota, that's Japanese, isn't it? But over there, they had because they had, I believe, Toyota there too. They had every car company except I didn't see Chrysler out there. But Toyota, let's look this up. Let's look at my new car. Toyota. I type it too fast. Where did it go? Now I lost it. Oh, GR86. GR. That sounds like a license plate. Oh, that's sharp. That'd be pretty in orange. There you go. Oh, this one's used, 16,000. I need a brighter orange than this one. It's got rain on it. Maybe it is brighter and just to, oh, we'll see. We'll see. I think I want something a little bit bigger. This is a sharp car, though. That is a sharp car. I'm still in soccer mom stage. I haven't outgrown that. That wouldn't be bad. I have a Taurus right now, SEL, but it's good. It's pretty much perfect, except if I want to do like kayaking or I want to buy a kayak. So John says I just replaced the main lighting on one of my pet's motorized cars. Why do I believe that? Oh, John. Yes, our little inventor. Motorized car for your pet. Basil says I hate doing business with NARC, but sometimes it's your only option. That's true. It's not your only option. I'm assuming. Sometimes it is. Sometimes they'll give us payment options. Nobody else will. But just be aware that they might not tell you, certain things. They might tell you they had an oil change every 3,000 miles or whatever. So just be aware of that. But that'd be nice. Dog Defender says no yellow or orange cars, no green either. I'm more classic in my car color choices. I'm going through a midlife crisis though. You're more stable. um, yeah, I like red too, but red gets you in trouble. Kalibi says GR86. It is snazzy looking, and I would love it, but it'd be nice to have a husband with a truck. So if anybody has a truck, I'll marry you. That's one thing that would be nice is to have that kind of stuff. Maybe I will end up doing that. I don't know yet. You like the beige color, and that's kind of like the champagne color that Calibri got. It's like a soothing color. Dog says, John, that is so fun that your pets have cars with lights. You're making me feel like a cheapskate. Dixie Doo doesn't have one. Dixie, why are you so shy? Because I don't have dog TV open. See my dog TV back there? There's one for me, and then dog TV for Dixie when I open it. Cynthia, do you watch any enthusiasts? Such as enthusiasts for what? Because I probably do. But tell me your definition of an enthusiast, because I just go off of mine. So tell me your definition. I can answer it better. Dog says, John says, I want one that actually flies. A car that flies. Well, just wait. They're coming. They're talking about those drone type things where you will be able to fly. So we can go to our convention once we have 5,000 subscribers. Kalibi says Toyota has a revised, sexy redone Prius. It's not too large, just right. Something like that might be good. I do like the one you're talking about as far as being snazzy and what I would want most of the time. But since I'm the only one with a car in the household, because it's just me, there's times you want to pick up a large something and you can't. Kalibi says, or the new Toyota Crown. It could go with my Tiara. Basil says red. Red is the color of love and romance. Blood, volcanoes, roses. And it's also does something. Like men are attracted to red. So It's true. They do studies on it. I talked about, I used to sell some exotic dancewear, and they've done studies on if you wear red, you will make more money in red. It's also a power, have that red tie. Um, it changes how people perceive certain people. It does draw the eye. It's also can intensify anger sometimes too. So if you're decorating your child's room, a brand new baby, a lot of times people like those primary colors. Um, don't do red, but wear red. And I'll have to remember to do that to wear. I don't have a lot of red. I can't really find it because I'm always wearing sweaters. I'm always cold. Dog says, John, your your bets could crash, or pets. Your pets. Where's the B and the P? Did you mean bets? Unless you're speaking. I think your pets could crash. I think that's what she's saying. Be careful. Buckle them in. Create one with a buckle. Basil says, do you think that it's narcissistic to own a luxury watch collection, or is it artistic since it can cost a lot of money? Um, I mean, if they're working for it, that's fine. It, uh, sometimes people want bragging rights. Oh, is it? It might get people drawn to them. It could be used as a manipulation tactic, but some people who wear designer jeans, why are you wearing designer jeans? Is it because you found it at a thrift store or because you wanted the status? Um, it's an image thing, they'll say, women who get their nails manicured all the time, is there something wrong with them? Do they have low self-esteem? So, um, to me, there's better ways to spend money. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's narcissistic. It's something that they enjoy. And if they're working for it, that's okay. Um, but if they need that watch, they can't go without it. They might have some self-esteem issues. So, uh, I know I told you guys about my uncle that died in that um, plane crash. One of the four, it was what year was it? I don't even remember. 1990, somewhere 1989 or so. There was four Ford executives. Some of you might remember it made the news, that died in a plane crash. Uh, and he had a Rolex watch. Kindest man I knew, other than my dad. Um, but he could afford it. They had so much money. And sometimes too, once you get higher up in status, because he was like one of the top Ford executives, that sometimes you feel peer pressure or to fit in with the crowd. Yeah, there's different. I wouldn't necessarily say it's narcissistic. Um, could go to self-esteem, maybe, or just desire. Desire to have the I think you guys get the point. Good question, though. I love good questions like that because that is a good question. What do you think, Basil? What do you think? Do you think it is? Um, John says, I'll build cardboard wings then. Won't get far, but it's worth trying at least once. Yeah, just don't do it in the rain where it gets all soggy floppy. Dog Defender says, Prius not in California. We cannot deal with Prius drivers. There's something up with all of them. Oh. They also said too, uh, I'm not going to go there. Dog says pets. Yes, I figured that out. Dog says, John, without them in it, do your tests. Yes. Yeah, don't make them fly too, because if they crash, that's even worse. You guys are great. I love having those thumbs up. John says the pet vehicles are either remote or wired throttle cable. They don't go very fast either. And you have like hamsters and stuff. I bet that's adorable. Calibri says, yes, I knew of a narc. Did you put your snake? Do you ever put your snake on a Calibri says, yes, I knew of a narc who displays his collection of hats and luxury watches. Goodness. They look like and displayed like museum pieces. Sometimes that's their identity. So if it's something like that, then it can be a sign. It could be a sign. Um, just like people with their trophies, do they still have to put them out? Or, oh, everybody's different. Everybody's reasons for doing things are different. Like hoarders, people who hoard things. Is there something going on with them, or are they just lazy? And Basso says some people flip watches for investment. Yeah, sometimes it can be an investment. And some people too like to match their watches with their outfits. Like, look at how many pairs of shoes we have. Are we narcissistic because, we don't want to wear red heels with a purple dress? Or we don't mind wearing red with a green dress, but it reminds people of Christmas, so we only wear it at certain times and and then also society. Do you guys follow that? White after Memorial Day and before Labor Day? Or do you guys say, screw it, I'm wearing white whenever I want? Is societal pressure, so somebody who wears white in the winter, and there's winter white, which is different than pure white. But, and then, tennis shoes are white most of the time. Um, are you a rule breaker? Peer pressure helps guide society sometimes, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Dog says, I wear designer jeans because of the fit. I buy them at first. That's the smartest thing to do, buying them at thrift stores. And I really bought one pair with a gift card. I absolutely love them. I, is because, are you saying because? Is because a designer? I don't know. Um, I'm thinking he said because. I don't know. I wonder if it is a designer with it. Because jeans. Dog says because how they feel and fit. Could care less about the name. Yep. And I just had to pay. I wanted to get my fancy pants, but these are like basic, and they were like $75, and I'm not even crazy about them. The ones I wanted were 120, just because I'm tall. It's nice going to the thrift store sometimes because being 6'1", you can see, after they've been washed, it's next to impossible for me to find jeans. So, um, yeah, it's real hard to find jeans because there's times you're like, I don't care, I'll pay the money, but I would have paid the 120. They didn't have my size. So it, yeah, they just don't carry them. I can't tell you how many stores I go to. Dog says because how they feel. I agree. Kalibi says, he was the one whom I've experienced narc rage, and it came up without warning. I'm not sure if I missed something, Basil or Calibri. Oh, the collection of the hats, the luxury watches, yes. And he was, one, uh, that the first narc rage that Calibri had, and he also looked evil. Yeah, sometimes I get that dark, demonic looking eyes, and, there is scientific evidence that it is done with, the adrenaline, but they can also black out, that it gets so pronounced. It can be very scary. Melissa says hello to everyone, and John says it back. I love our group. You guys are awesome. And Dog says he could just be a collector also who loves the look and is proud to own what he has worked hard for. Yeah, I can. That's why I didn't feel completely confident saying it's a sign. It goes to intent, sometimes family values, it might be something, carrying on a tradition that grandpa had, or who knows, it could be nostalgic to them. Um, Add on to the, grandpa's collection, keep it going, keep it in the family. And Basil says, I feel like the more money you had, the more you'll feel the need to spend on luxury items. It's just instinctive because they make you feel better about yourself, and people are naturally greedy to some extent. Yeah, and uh, you can also give into that impulse. Like, I don't have to um, budget things. It's like, oh, I want that sweater. Yeah, I got the money. I'll just get it. As opposed to, do I really need it? And if you think about it, like pretty much across the board, I bet we could all share what we have in our bank account right now with each other. It'd be pretty close to what the others have. Um, there are some people who are better investors, but you know, pretty much everybody's living paycheck to paycheck. And that goes for your rich people too. Lower class, middle class, that people are spending their money. Some of it is I think the government rations out the money to control us. Why is the minimum wage what it is? And the tax system, all that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, it's almost like in one hand out the other. Basil says, I'm planning on, and just like, you know, um, the cars we buy, the new cars, it's an investment. We know it's an investment. So if we're going to buy a new car and we make 300,000 a year, are we going to get a $26,000 car, or are we going to get something, um, you know, $60,000 car? Sometimes it is, you know, based on the salary, but then that brings you right back down. Basil says, I'm planning on building a luxury watch collection since I love watches a lot. So, was it you, Basil, that was the one that asked if I thought it was narcissistic? Um, go for it. Go for it. And just make sure, that it could be narcissistic if you're taking food out of your kids' mouths because you want to watch, or you don't care about that kind of stuff. But if you have the money, go for it. It can be investment too. Dog says, Basil, it is a one size fits all. Isn't a one size fits all. There are many different reasons, and not everybody is greedy. Not everyone feels better about themselves. In my opinion, people have so many facets to them. And, um, uh, yeah, some people will overshop to self medicate. There's also people who shoplift, who won't spend money to get the thrill. They don't even need the item. Um, John says, I think it's mostly about control. Control of what? Us. Um, I, are you saying like if I got all fancy and drove a fancy car and wore diamonds or something like that, that a narc's most powerful tool is having that control over us? What, that they have more status than us? Is that what you're saying? Or are you just saying a general statement? Because it's seeming you're referring to Basil's statement. Yeah, sometimes too when we bebop around with different, usually it goes pretty good, but he might be responding to something a little different, or taking it a different way. So people do things for certain reasons. Everybody's reasons are different. Some people, um, I wouldn't say necessarily that buying yourself a lot of stuff is greedy. You might want to show off, but as long as there's enough things in the world, if I'm buying up all the cars in the world, I'm being greedy. If I have 7 cars, and I'm not taking away from anybody else, I wouldn't necessarily say that's greedy. That might be hoarding, showing off. I think greed is when you take from others, not just show off. That's my take. But um, they like to show off, that's for sure. Okay, so as a general statement, I never judge by a person's status or wealth, whatever it may be. So, yeah, because status and wealth can come and go. Look at the crash market, uh, s- uh, stock exchange, all that stuff. When they had that big crash. And then with the cryptocurrency, how that Bitcoin, that guy was a billionaire, woke up in the morning, probably laying next to someone and said, "Hey, honey, I'm broke." So she was with him, or he, I don't know his status, but his little lover fluff, if he even had one. They were there for money. That's gone instantly. Uh, John says, I should have said their attempts at control. It's hard too when we're, just doing everything by text. Some things are out of context, or my interpretation of what somebody says into your mind. And that's why it's good to clarify, and that's what with this ghosting stuff, one little thing. And we can't talk through things. We can't make things better with a narcissist. And sometimes this is the hardest part with a narcissist is they take something the wrong way. Now all of a sudden your relationship's over. You're like, it was a misunderstanding. I didn't say that. And they pull from the negative that you know, they the ghosting is terrible. The silent treatments are deafening. Um I talked about it before, where the quietest place on earth, where it's completely soundproof. It's 99.9999, whatever, almost exactly soundproof. Nobody can stay in it for more than an hour. It actually starts to hurt you. um like your head's pounding. When I was taking sign language, that after the first semester, all the class was in silence, um no sound, and you're sitting there. It was so crazy how you are trying to hear, the teacher's doing her sign language and different sign sounds, and you're so intent on watching her, but your ears are wanting to hear, that it gave me headaches and terrible earaches in sign language class. So, um, they talk about the sensory deprivation, how you start hallucinating, and you know, it's almost like torture. And when our narcissist gives us that silent treatment, it's like torture. Who took away that like? Oh my goodness. Oh, narcissist. Who took away my like? Aw. Did I say something? That's all right. It's all right. We have to learn to cope with rejection. You can put it back now. um, so, uh, oh, so sad. But where are we? Kalibi says, I'd say buy things that promote convenience and fulfillment in your life. I think is fine. I just can't imagine buying several cars to fill up a week's worth of driving. Yeah, it can be silly. Yeah, I agree. And I will say this, you guys are welcome to take those likes back, but if I did say something that you didn't like, let's talk through it. Maybe you have a point that is worth hearing. Dog says, no matter how much money I've ever had, you can never tell by my wardrobe or car, etc. Yeah, and some people too. Um, one of my biggest tippers hat. You're sweet. Thank you. Somebody gave me a bag. um, but one of my biggest tippers, just dressed kind of like a motorcycle dude, and uh, like a fantastic tip. I believe it was around $150, and I was like, "Whoa!" Because he rounded up, and he's like, "Yeah, you treated me like a human. Like he loved that I just didn't judge him, because a lot of times people would judge him, not give him service because he kind of looked like your rough and gruff biker gang dude, not just a motorcyclist. I think you guys know what I mean. So I can understand that. Yeah, I keep trying to do the little glam up. And I'm like, man, I just get too cold. like, like I have this style, and it's hard for me too. I'm like, I just want to be me. Jeans and a sweater. If it was warmer, but Yeah, we're creatures of habit. Basil says, Defender, I understand. That's why I said I think that human nature is greed, but to a certain extent. Yeah, you did add that qualifier. And continues, you can learn to control and manage it throughout your lifetime, to not forget sharing with others who need it more than us. Um, yeah, I agree. We can really help people out. Dog says, yes, I hear you. I just see so many variables with so many different people, cultures, beliefs that I just don't see greed in all of those I know and haven't seen that much. And yes, dog, I saw that too. So big hugs back to you, whoever did that. And that was Melissa. Thank you for saving the day so I didn't cry. I appreciate that. Dog says, I see 10 now. Melissa gave us a 10. I had 10, then it went down to 9. And now I have 10. So thank you. Do you see that now, John? Dog? John says, like Cynthia stated, a greedy individual wants it all. Everything, if it were possible to get. Normal people only get what they need, not what they don't. Yeah, during times of need. But, times of desperation. Let's talk about COVID toilet paper. People get scared sometimes too, the panic buying. Um, are they necessarily being greedy or trying to take care of their family? Or, like uh, rolling rations where it's like, do I really have to go to the store every day to be considerate and only buy, a 2-pack? I know they come in 4-packs, but tonight, is that smart too? Going into the stores right when COVID hit, going to the store every day, like, and the lines. So you're going to be in the lines longer. Are you hoarding if you buy a week's worth? And those crazy times. Dog says, hey, Melissa, how are you? Good to see you. See, I did good on that one. Good to see you. Or is it great to see you? Kalibi says, the one thing that I value most these days are my peace of mind and a quiet, safe place. These material things can come and go. I agree. And 11, I don't, who added an extra one? Maybe it didn't really disappear. I only see 11, John. Yeah, Mia says, I see 10. John, is this positive thinking? Oh no, they took the last one. Yeah, I know, John. That's why I was crying. Dog says, I bought a plunger during COVID and decided to check me. That is funny, dog. Dog says, because of my diagnosis, we have groceries delivered. Yeah, sometimes you have to be very cautious with pre-existing things. It's nice that they have that now. COVID did change society, and Walmart is. Any of you have a 24-hour Walmart now? I miss those days. I like going shopping in the middle of the night because, John, you see 11? I don't. Is that your positive thinking? You're just here. Do you, John? No, I think what John's doing, John's manipulating. John's trying to get somebody to hit that like. Is that what you're doing, John? You little manipulator? I think that's what you're doing. But no, it's definitely appreciate. You guys don't have to do that, but it does help with the algorithm and has the channel grow. So plus it's fun. It's fun seeing that. So tomorrow, let's see, tomorrow is Tuesday. What would you guys like to talk about? Does anybody have any questions or concerns for tomorrow? I was going to do erotomania and hybristopia. Hybristopia. And I want to research it more. But the Idaho killer has a Valentine's and I don't. How do these murderers get people to fall in love with them? Is it a sickness? We're going to talk about those kind of things. Melissa says, I'm trying to rewire my brain to think about the positives. So before I go, we will talk about that. If anybody has any final questions or comments, feel free to let me know. So I do want to address Melissa's because that's important. rewiring our brain. We are going through a withdrawal because of the trauma bond that is going to feel like a withdrawal from cocaine. That's what they assimilate it to. Is that the correct way to say it? That physically, we're going to go through some things. And, it's something we have to process through so we don't get stuck in it. So, cry when you need to cry, rest when you need to rest, go easy on yourself. Don't kick yourself over the loss, and counteract. Counteract your depression with something that makes you happy. And when you experience it, I promise you, when you experience the happy times, you're going to start gravitating back towards that because it's going to give you a dopamine hit that, or some serotonin that's your feel good hormones that you're going to start liking feeling good. And going to start to gravitate towards it. But you have to take the steps to do that. So take some time, think about what you want, are you somebody who likes knitting? Then go to a knitting class, reconnect with people. But even just getting out in the car, driving there, and taking the beauty along the way, with the beautiful trees or the birds or uh, the garbage on the side of the road. But laughter is a great medicine that try not to take things too seriously. Um, and the rewiring of the brain does help, and it it will come over you where it's enlightening. um you'll feel it change. You'll feel it happen where you're like, this is, I can see where I am now. That's where it's like the light at the end of the tunnel. So you're going to go through a lot of darkness, and then eventually you're going to see that light, and you'll know that if you keep going, it's okay. um it's not like a death light where you're like, I see God. Um, it's your freedom of your life, to where you're living again. So trust the process. Trust the process. And um, I've mentioned before how if I'm like, Melissa, are you okay today? You don't look like you feel good. And you're like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm like, okay, well, let me know if you need anything. You don't look like you feel too good. And if you keep hearing that, eventually you're going to go home sick because you're going to be like, I guess I am sick. So that's a negative way to turn your brain. Okay. Because of the perception, your brain's going to catch on to it. So keep your brain in the positive. Today's going to be a great day. They didn't have coffee today, but thank goodness they had some awesome tea, as opposed to getting down and depressed. And that's not going to stop my day. And keep it positive, and it's going to turn up positive. Just like the negative, like you don't look like you feel good, even though you do, even though you feel fine. But it changes the brain. So change it to the positive. That's how you rewire it, you know. Kalibi says, looking at the narcs behind my rear view mirror makes me happy, generates a smirky smile on my face. And John says, me too. A little smirk. And that's, yeah, especially if you actually see it. So I do care about you, Melissa, and I can relate to what you're going through, that it can be quite painful. And that's why I did want to, before I signed off, you guys will see sometimes too on some videos I've done where I'm like, I can't go to bed. I just got this text from somebody or this message from somebody, and this needs to be addressed tonight. So I felt that tonight's a good night. I didn't want to sign off without addressing uh, what you're going through, Melissa. So I do care about you guys, and I know what the pain is like. The pain can be debilitating, so it's not to be taken lightly. People sometimes struggle with suicidal thoughts. 988 is the suicide prevention hotline, which is free. It's in the United States. They also, one is the country code in case you're in a different country. It may work. If you use the country code, you might have long distance charges. I'm not sure how that works, but you know, therapy might be good. But there are things that we can do ourselves. And I've been looking into different kinds of things. Yoga can help. And, you know, uh, dealing with the vagus nerve. I have a video on the vagus nerve on, you know, warm showers can get you more creative, but splashing your face with cold water sometimes resets that vagus nerve. And you're going to counseling. Was it you that was saying that you weren't quite sure? Who was it that had the bold um, therapist? Is the counseling working good for you? It's good to have a good match. The better your match with somebody, and I think you did tell me it was somebody who was, if I remember correctly, uh, knowledgeable in narcissistic abuse people. John says, I'm still here having trouble letting my girlfriend go. Not easy, but I'm doing it. She would want me to move on. Yeah, John's girlfriend, um, not his narc, but yeah, 40 years is hard. 40 years of a good relationship gone due to her death. And I think, John, in all honesty, that you still needed to grieve, and I think that's why you hit so hard when you were with your narc. It was almost like a comfort having somebody there. We get used to having somebody there. So you're doing good, John. You're doing good. And you've been a great support. So we really appreciate you. And you're doing good. Keep that up. Melissa says, thank you everyone for caring about you. This is a great channel. You'll see that people interact. I've been on other channels. There's not as much of the interaction that we have. So I'm very proud of you guys for caring about each other. So this art teacher is going to get some sleep. Basil says, what are my thoughts on Kenneth Copeland's controversial, lavish lifestyle? I don't know who he is. I told you guys I'm very naive unless it's on CNN, and no, I am not a Democrat. I am not a liberal. I just watch CNN, guys. Kenneth, maybe I do know him. I don't know. That's sad. You guys are going to see how I wasn't allowed to watch TV, and it made it so miserable. Oh, I do know him. Okay. Gosh, I got to remember. He's a TV one? I need a better picture of him. I do know who he is. I think he's the one who is shady as crepadoodle to me. Is it him? There's somebody just doesn't seem right. And I don't know him enough, but it's a lot about money. And is he a television guy? I know that's him. My dad gave a lot to Jim Baker, a lot. And let me see what you say on that. I think that's who he is. And I'll hit on that. Kenneth Copeland. John says the thing that hurts the most is that all these people tried everything to stop the relationship. Is that what you're saying? John says, sorry, they didn't care. I lost her. Evil, huh? And that's the thing. Yeah, they don't want to hear it. We have to be careful too that we don't over do that. But oh, Jen, Jen, are you just popping in? I was about to sign off, but I definitely want to make sure that we'll stay a little bit longer. Yeah, it can hurt. People don't realize some of the trauma we've been through because they're just so focused on themselves. And Mia says, Melissa, praying prayers for you. And Melissa's praying right back to you for all of us. Look at all that. Beautiful emojis. Jen says, hang in there, John. Yeah, he's definitely overcome a lot. And that's one of our survivor stories, he he was in a real deep place, dark, dark, very scary, and he reached out to me. Um, I'll let John tell that story whenever he wants to. You don't have to do that now, or ever if you don't want to. But he reached out. Luckily, I was on at the time he needed me. Basil says he's the richest preacher, if I'm not mistaken, was interviewed by Inside Edition, being asked that the money he received from the people are for charities, not lavish living. Oh, now he, I, I don't mind some religious things, but he was the one, I believe. Oh, Cynthia Davis is married to Kenneth Copeland. Of course, her name is Cynthia. Isn't he the one who always twists it somehow and almost like buying prayers, or he does something? I wish I could remember exactly what he did. Um, it almost made you feel like you had to pay for something to be saved. Yeah. I'll have to watch him again. I know that's who he is. Like, you can sit there and watch, and it's almost like the entire time is kind of like a QVC thing where it's like, just buy this, just buy this. God, just buy this. Jesus, just buy this. And it's like, God, Jesus, like, I didn't learn anything. What are we talking about? Like, it didn't seem like he had a message. And that bothered me. Give me a message, whether I agree with it or not. Give me a message, and, but it just seemed all about the money. All about the money. So, Dog says, John, it is really difficult. Give yourself time. That it will just going to take time. And I recommend bereavement, and it is helpful to some. I hope you have the support you need wherever you can. And John says, and that's really sweetly said. John says, I remember when you analyzed my dream. I recorded it so I can refer to it. Great job on that. Oh, the video? Is that what you're talking about? I need to get that title. So you like that? Yeah, dreams can tell us some things sometimes. You know, dreams can give us answers. So John, thank you for saying that. You know, constructive criticism is good for me too. The positives and the negatives. That's why when I said that person, take away my like, let me know why. For growth, you guys don't always have to agree with the things that I say. I try to come as knowledgeable as possible. And with psychology, there are differences of opinion, and I have told you guys that I would like to look more into the BPD, borderline personality disorder, and NPD. They're so close to me that I keep wondering if it's just the feministic portion of it. Because there are some men with feminine traits, just like there are some women with the masculine traits. And is it just a balance? Is that what the difference is? The feminine versus the masculine, whether you're a man who's feminine or a female who's, butch or whatever you want to call it. Is that where the overflow is? So should it be borderline is the feminine thing, but there's guys mixed in, but the guys are feminine? Or effeminate, however the correct term is. And then same with the opposite. Is that why there's some narcissistic female? And if you notice that it's growing, more females are being diagnosed as narcissistic. I got to double check on the borderline. Are more men becoming borderline? Because with the gender identity things that are going on, the expression, there's something to it. I bet you guys. I bet you. Mark my word on it. It is February 6, 2023. Cynthia Schiller is putting her hypothesis out there. Let me know what you guys think. Kalibi says, I tend not to attend church on Sundays for that reason. I see more narc types there. They are there to show off and get supply. Yeah, it's a fashion statement. Free donuts. No, I'm just kidding. That's why I liked going to church when I was a little girl. I'll go to the big girl church, daddy. Yep, double chocolate donuts and hot chocolate. But, in all seriousness, perfectly said, Jen. The preachers can sometimes be communal narcissists. Yeah, they'll control you. They'll guilt you into, you know, tithing. You know, promised things, that aren't going to happen. Dog says, well, I don't know how to pronounce it. Zealots. I cannot stand religious zealots. That are robbing people blind and taking advantage. I have a very different opinion on my relationship with God. In helping in Houston, I saw who Olstein really is. Yep. Uh, helping in Houston. Olstein, I know that name. Yeah, I told you how my dad, Tammy Faye and Jim Baker, he gave, I don't even know, like 20% of his income to them. It was ridiculous. Um, Kalibi says, I tend to not attend church. Um, yeah, everybody who goes to church, I went to a Christian school in 11th grade. Yeah, I know the secrets. They're not all good people. Some are, but not all. Dog says, since I've been little, there has been preachers taking advantage of folks. Take as old as time. And I knew a girl who she was married to a preacher, and I can't remember. He had like, I think 6 kids, and he cheated like crazy. He was divorced, and can't remember if he married that girl. I was her sister's bridesmaid, so I didn't know her as well, but yeah, like she was the party girl. She was a party girl, and um yeah, it was all a facade. He cheated on her too. He was a player, and represented the church in a totally different way than his lifestyle. um I'll agree. And the communal narcissist, yeah. um the cult, I should do something on cults, on how, like that David Koresh, over in Waco, Texas, how he was able to get these people. Also on Haley's comment, you know, um, sometimes people are just searching for answers so much that they can be fooled or taken advantage of. And, you think, I don't know, letting your beautiful 10-year-old girl sleep with the cult leader, thinking this is a blessing to my daughter. She gets to birth, and it's like, are you? Whoa, her body can't even handle it. What are you doing? And then how parents sometimes will live vicariously through children. John says, "What a piece of work is man." Some quote from Star Trek. Yes, man, what a piece of work. I'll agree with that. I'll catch up, guys. I didn't see that you guys. Um, so Basil says dog defender. Yes, 100%. And tail. Okay. Kalibi says that means I don't deal with the middlemen when it regards to my relationship with God. Yeah. It's this is what's scary. I thought about being a youth pastor when I was growing up, and this is what scared me. Is I was told, that the was supposed to witness to people, things like that, but that God will judge the teachers of the word a little bit harsher because we should know, and we're guiding people, and you know I get scared of going to a new church because you don't know what they're going to say that day. That's what scares me is, are they going to manipulate you? Are, present something that can be toxic to your religious beliefs, lead you down the wrong path. Um, but sometimes too, we miss out on good learning, good inspiration, and uplifting fellowship. So I get where you're coming from, though, Calibri. Dog says, gave them furniture and took care of everyone, gave them all furniture. That was a man of God. And I think I missed it. Those same searches look to cult leaders and psychics. I have drawn a direct correlation between cults and domestic violence and narc abuse. Dogs is crying. Be right back. Oh, yeah, she's our little rescuer. Oh, your dog is crying. Okay, be right back. Um, so Jen, are you doing good today though? Um, Gotta make sure everybody, Mia, everybody. But as far as what she's saying, I don't know who she's saying she gave the furniture to though. Is she talking to the preachers? Uh, as far as what she's saying though, as far as the direct correlation between cults and domestic violence, narc abuse, yeah, definitely has a point. The cults are self-serving. They don't care. A lot of them want complete control. That's why they have you donate so much. So you don't have any resources. And they put that little scare tactic. They beat you down. You know, um, just like even in the military, they beat you down. They break your spirit so you're compliant. And I did say, as far as like criminals, how my degrees in criminal justice, that you can break somebody's spirit after like 7 years in prison. These people are just going to become compliant. This is they're reliant on it. That they kind of give up resisting and they just go with the flow. That's their life now. Um, so you can break people. I want to do something too on people who have been in psychiatric hospitals that were put in there and shouldn't have been. There was this one story of um, a person who their family couldn't take care of him, and they just put him in a mental institution. It wasn't that he needed mental help, but he was too much to take care of. Can't remember if he had physical ailments or just financially or whatever the reason was, but they put him aside in an asylum, and he went crazy. He became mentally ill because all the people he was around, and we got to be careful on that. I want you guys to listen to what I'm saying. A healthy man went into an asylum and was treated, as mentally ill. And this kind of goes back to the "Hey, Melissa, are you sick today?" thing. He came out mentally ill because of the exposure. And when we're dealing with narcissists, we are exposed to mental illness and we're trying to survive in a mentally ill world with, that's our safe zone with our narcissist, which is our own asylum. And we come out damaged. And our coping skills change. Our coping skills change because our boundaries were broken or not recognized, and they lied to us. And we thought there were unspoken boundaries because we grew up in a healthy or healthy upbringing. And I hope your dog's okay. My Dixie do. Come here, Pop. Yeah, come here. Let's see if Dixie. Come here. My dog's so lazy. Oh, you getting old. What did I bring her today? Oh, I got her Taco Bell. I never eat, but I was getting busy after school. There she is. Look at the Dixie dude. Do you see Dixie? Basil says narcs create their own prison. They do. They live within that head. Somebody else gave me a thumbs up. Thank you guys. And then they escape it. They go AWOL, go to a different prison. They can't escape what they're going through. And they just live in the moment. And it's sad how many people they take advantage of. Um, but I'm gonna say it is time for me to log off. I'm getting like dizzy, tired. So I'm gonna send a big love out to dog because I do need to get some sleep. Uh, but I will go tomorrow. Does 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time sound good to you guys? Need to get some sleep. Okay, so all right. So I'm saying goodbye to and to you guys too. Oh, I wish you could too. We can come back tomorrow and give me one. How's that? Melissa says good night to everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining. And there's going to be some cool topics coming up. Let's get deep into this and get on that healing train because it will change your life. And the quicker we can get there, the better. Knowledge helps. Knowledge helps you get to where you need to be. Mia says, thank you, Cynthia, for another great live. Please have a great rest of your evening. I will. Vassal says, good night. Look at, oh, that's where I want to be, just snoring away. All right, guys. Thanks so much for all the love and support. Lots of love back to you guys. And I will see you again soon. Enjoy the night. Bye. See you tomorrow.